From the beautiful Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, this is the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. We take questions from anyone in the dental profession and discuss what it takes to win not only in dentistry, but in life. Business, leadership, relationships, parenting, health and wellness, money management, nothing is off limits on the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. I'm Jason Tenori, your host, and have over 20 years of experience to pull from. Learn from my mistakes and let me help you collapse time so you can become the best version of yourself. Yo, Dr. Jason here, Dental Lighthouse Podcast. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. It is 8:50 in the morning, and the sun is blaring on my face. I had just, I'm in the middle of podcast recording, as I mentioned on the last one, and I think this is going to be relevant for the messaging that I want to unpack with you guys today. Every single week from 8:30 to 9:30, I'm recording podcasts. It is what it is. It's in my schedule. I know what I'm doing. I don't get distracted. I go to an area where I can't be bothered. I turn all the notifications off on my web browser. I turn my phone off. I do the work to make sure that I can be productive. And the reason that I'm unpacking this at the beginning of the podcast is because there's a couple things that I've been thinking about and that I've experienced over the last week, which makes me feel like this message needs to be shared. So where do we begin? As you guys know, I have a group coaching set of awesomeness, let's call it. And in that group, we have a number of dentists, and we allow each one of the dentists to bring on a key lead, an office manager, an operations person, basically their right-hand man or someone that they rely on a lot. In some situations, it's a spouse. And on this past Friday call, we meet every Friday. On this past Friday call, we had a bunch of people on the call, and this office manager, who I am not going to give away their identity or their location or anything like that, basically was like, Jason, I need help because I'm overwhelmed. I'm kind of burnt out. I'm burning the candle at both ends, and there's no end in sight. And I'm not 100% sure what to do about it. So, we unpacked a lot of that on the call, and we talked about some pieces of advice that I'm going to share with you guys today about that. But it was just an awesome reminder of how important the asset of time is, how important it is to make sure that we're owning our time, and how important it is to not build our companies, our businesses around A-plus players, around unicorns. So what do I mean by that? So let me give you a little bit of context. We all have people on our team that are amazing, right? Let's call them A-plus players. Let's call them unicorns. And I do think sometimes we get complacent because we're successful, not because of the systems and not because of the accountability and not because of the training and not because of the onboarding, but because we have one or two people that are truly unicorns. Like they're hard to find, and they're amazing people, and they just get shit done. And all of the little things that ideally are delegated to other people through great systemization end up getting owned by this one unicorn. And if you have someone like that on your team, and I have a couple, it's an awesome feeling. But what's not awesome is when you fool yourself into thinking that it's scalable or it's sustainable. And in this situation, this office manager had just gotten through a season of tons of training. There was a lot of turnover at the front desk. And over the last 3 to 6 months, she had been um, hiring, onboarding, developing systems for these people and getting them to the point where they need to be. Now, I don't need to tell you, but I will, that when you delegate training and onboarding to a key team member because they're the best one to do it, what they may not be telling you is it's exhausting. Like working with someone side by side, training them up, helping them with their mistakes, getting them to the point where they need to be, it's freaking exhausting. And there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of combat that. And we can talk about that on a different podcast. But two things happen. One is you get exhausted. And I've even gotten exhausted, like mentoring and onboarding new doctors, right? Where you're holding their hand, you're answering the same questions over and over again. You have all of your own work to do, but you can't get to it because you're trying to grow this person. So you're where you should be. You're where you need to be. But the other things are getting put on the back burner. So it's exhausting, right? And you're not able to get your own stuff done. So this office manager traditionally would be able to catch up or get her other stuff done after work, when she was home, after dinner. And it's extremely rare to find someone that's going to work a 8-9 hour day at the office, do all of the shit that you need them to do, put out fires, micromanage this, take care of that. And then some of the bigger picture things or some of the other things they don't get a chance to get to. So, when they get home, when they put the kids to bed, they're doing it, right? And again, I'm not suggesting that you owner doctors are putting your head in the sand, but some of you are. And you're just not realizing that things are going really well or things are getting done because you're redlining one of your unicorns. And then it ultimately gets to a point where the bubble bursts. And it could be because you've redlined this person so much that they're fully burnt out. In this particular case, this office manager had an event at home that prevented them from bringing a lot of work home. And now she was even more overwhelmed with, I just don't have the capacity to do all of this. What are we going to do? And this is where like you start to see cracks in the armor. And this is where you're like, oh shit, I have been, quote unquote, scaling an office or building an office, not based on systems, not based on accountability, but based on one unicorn doing the work of 2.5 or 3 people. So in an effort to kind of coach her up and in an effort to like communicate to you guys what I think you need to be doing to either prevent this or deal with this, let's start at a high level. It starts with really getting to understand what's going on. And that only happens through one-on-ones. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, but if you have a key team member, an operations person, an office manager, something like that, I need you meeting with them at a minimum of once a week. And at that time, it should be 30 to 60 minutes. It should be away from the chaos of the office, not necessarily off site, but like behind closed doors where you're not going to get knocks on the door and get disturbed. And you really need to unpack obviously day-to-day stuff and that. But the bigger thing you need to unpack is, how are you doing? How are you holding up? Are you able to manage the responsibilities that we're asking of you? And again, if there's trust and vulnerability built between the two of you, then the hope is he or she will be honest with you and say, I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm treading water, but I got it, right? Or, I so appreciate you asking. I'm struggling. And if you hear that, then that's a red flag of like, okay, I need to do something. So we need to be connecting with these people at least once a week. I connect, and I'm now coaching my one-on-one clients and my group coaching clients to connect with this person daily. Now, again, I get what you're saying. Oh, daily? What, are you kidding me, Jason? I don't have that time. I don't. You find the time, right? So a lot of my coaching clients are hopping on a phone call with their OM or office manager on the way to work. 10, 15 minutes, right? Just check what happened yesterday. What do I need to know about? What do you need my input on? And when you do this, when you know you're going to have a regular cadence of check-ins, daily, every other day, whatever your cadence is going to be, all of the late night text messages and emails and Slack messages, it all goes away. Because if it's 8:30 at night and I'm really thinking about something that I need to talk about with my operations person, why am I going to steal presence from my wife and from my kids and formulate a 20 to 30-minute email or text message or Slack message when I know I'm going to be in person or on a Zoom call or on a phone call with this person the next morning, and I can just articulate it via my own voice? I can. It's hard to explain until you like actually live it, but you'll be amazed at how much time you find or how much time you save when you're not consumed with sending novel length text messages to key people on your team at 8:30 at night. Just trust me on this one, right? And if you're not doing that, then you know I'm applauding you. But if you're anything like I was earlier in my career, everything was urgent. I had to get this message out. They had to find out right now what I was thinking. And you're not only stealing presence from your family, now you're stealing presence from this person's family because they can't just ignore the message. Now they have to read it and respond, and they have to take that to bed with them, and they have to sleep restlessly because you blew them up at 8:30 at night instead of just waiting till you're checking the next morning. So that's the first thing. Second thing is really get dialed in on what you're asking this person to do. And everything's not an answer, right? So leaders need to not get lost in the patient facing tasks, not get lost in the mundane minutia of insurance breakdowns and confirmation calls and all of that stuff. They need to rise above. They need to be leading other people to do these things. So if you're not forcing them to lead other people and you put your head in the sand because you know shit's going to get done because this unicorn's going to ultimately do it, even though you have other people on the team that should be extremely capable of doing it, that's on you. And that's not scalable. And that's going to ultimately lead to burnout. It's going to ultimately lead to resentment. And it's going to ultimately lead to this person not being with you any longer. What I need you to do with this person is work with them and identify the things that they're awesome at, right? And then identify the things that they can train others at or they can delegate. And then they really, really, really need to assign their time. They need to look at their week and they need to know that on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning, this is what I'm doing. And from 8:30 to 9:30, this is what I'm doing. Just like I said at the beginning of the call, it's Wednesday morning at 8:30, right? I know when I was planning out my day last night, I know that from 8:30 to 9:30, I'm going to be recording podcasts. It's not up for debate. Like, this is what I'm doing. Now, don't get me wrong. If my kid wakes up with like a fever and I got to run him to the ER or something, yeah, okay, then my day's changed. But stop making excuses like that. Like that's happens 1% of the time, 2% of the time. If you condition yourself to assign tasks to every 15, 30, 45, 60 minutes of your day. And you create an environment where you can get these tasks done in a way that's not going to blow up the rest of your day. You'll be amazed at how much you can do in a significantly less amount of time. It's when I coach up people to do this and I check in with them in a week and they'll say something like, yeah, Jason, I was trying to get that deep work done, to refine that AR system for my team, or to come up with a better training template, or to create some scribes, or to create some Loom videos, just to empower my team. But I couldn't do it because people kept blowing up my office. They kept knocking on the door. They needed something. They needed me to put out a fire. They needed this. They needed that. Whose fault is that? That's a you issue, right? Because you're thinking that you can get deep, uninterrupted work done in the chaos or in the whirlwind of your office. It's like when doctors say to me, hey, Jason, I've taken your advice and I've reduced my clinical days from 4 to 3.5, and now I have a half day where I'm really getting deep work done, but it's just not working for me. Okay, so instead of me judging them, I'm going to ask a question. Help me understand why it's not working. Well, I get pulled away for a hygiene exam, or I get pulled away for, to do this same day filling on Mrs. Jones. Well, why are you even at the office? Well, I'm there and I'm just getting. It's like you start to make excuses in your head. If you're truly trying to be productive and you're truly trying to get some work done, you can't be in the chaos or the whirlwind of your office. Now, this is going to be a super hard lesson to understand. And the people that have actually experienced it know that what I'm about to say is true. You will be amazed at how much more efficient you can be when you assign tasks to your time and you just find that half hour, that 60 minutes, that 90 minutes away from the chaos, and you get it done. I promise you that there have been literally like 15-page SOPs that I had been trying to get done in between patients, or when I have a free moment here or a free moment there. And months would go by before I could actually get anywhere close to it being done. But when I finally got disciplined enough to say, okay, for the next hour, my time is fully dedicated to this SOP. I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to go to the coffee shop. I'm going to put headphones on. Nobody's going to know where I'm at. I'm going to turn off all the notifications on my browser. I'm going to turn my phone off, and I'm going to get this done. You'll get it done in an hour. So what was lingering over you for 3.5, 4 months now got done in an hour. It's just so amazing to me what you can do when you give yourself the time and the environment to do it. And now what you have is freed up time to do other things. We were talking about this on our coaching call last week. My one of my clients, female dentist, just a rock star. She wants to be more present at work. She's got an associate, so she's not there 4 days a week, but she feels disconnected with some of the newer employees, and she doesn't like that. She wants to be more present. And what she said to me was, Jason, whenever I go into the office to get things done, or to visit with these people, I get sucked into working on this or email or what have you. And the reason that you're getting sucked into doing these other things is because you don't have delegated time to work on those other things. I want your schedule to be so dialed in that you know that from 10:30 to 11:30 on Wednesdays, all you're doing is walking up and down the halls of your office. And I like to use the phrase kissing babies and shaking hands. But you're just talking to people. You're just like No, I'm just here to listen. I'm just here to ask you how you're doing. I'm just here to see how your family is. Is there anything I can do for you? Like that type of presence with your team, A, is unbelievably beneficial because they know you really care and you're really present for them. But B, does not occur unless you've taken absolute control of the rest of your week. And in my world, in 15-minute increments. In your world, it could be 60-minute increments. It doesn't really matter. But when you've delegated responsibility to your calendar, when you've assigned your calendar tasks, when you've done all of that, you'd be amazed at how much freed up time you have to do these other things that you've been meaning to do. So this particular doctor has been wanting to do something like this for months, right? And it hasn't come to fruition. Now you tell her, well, let me see what your week looks like. Show me what you're dedicating your time to. And when you really break it down, when you do some time journaling or what have you, it's just amazing how much time that we waste doing things that don't need to be done or things that could be batched and just save an unbelievable amount of time. So this mindset of like, I don't have enough time. I'm burnout. I'm redlining. I'm not doubting that at all. What I'm saying is 99% of the time, the solution is assigning your calendar, assigning your time, and fighting like hell to stay on track to the schedule that you give yourself. And after the first week, or even after the first day, looking at what happened, where was I successful, where was I not successful, and doing like an autopsy, being like, I screwed this up because of dot dot dot. Next week, I'm going to make these subtle changes and see what happens. You're basically a scientist in a lab, and you're trying to figure out, how do I get to this point where I'm working 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, 35 hours a week, and that's my entire work week. I am locked into 35 hours a week, and everything that I need to do for work is going to fall into that 35 hours. And if I can't make it fall into that 35 hours, I don't just start working more. I decide, what can I get rid of? What can I batch? What can I delegate? That's the key. That's the formula. That's the secret sauce. So with this particular office manager, to come full circle, that's what we talked about. And I hope she heeds my advice. It's simple, just not easy advice. And if she dedicates an hour and she opens up a Google spreadsheet and she puts, Monday through Sunday on the top and 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. on the left, on the y-axis, and she truly assigns tasks to each hour in her week, and she audits herself at the end of the week and asks herself, okay, where did I win and where did I not win? And most importantly, when I didn't win, why? I think she'll be amazed, as will you, at how much you can accomplish when you're disciplined and you follow an ideal week calendar. All right, guys, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm so passionate about it, and mainly because I've lived decades of my life via chaos and thinking I was productive, thinking I was busy, thinking I was moving the needle, only to realize that it was a joke. And once I really got dialed in, once I really started to do the work that matters, once I really started to let things go, delegate things, that's when the magic started to happen. So thanks for listening to my ramblings. If you have any questions or concerns, my contact information is on the website, thedentallighthouse.com. Would love to hear from you. Love to get hear about your questions, hear about your concerns, hear about your problems, hear about your wins. If you want to shoot me a text and just kind of let me know something that I've said you've implemented and it's really working, that's awesome. I'd love to. That kind of fills up my cup and helps me kind of fulfill my purpose when it comes to this, is just trying to serve you and collapse time and get you from A to B way quicker than I got from A to B. So, all right, love you guys. Talk soon.
Thank you. That wraps up another episode of the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. You have a choice today. Choose to be a lighthouse. Lighthouses are powerful and steadfast. They are beacons of light for others to reference when life gets turbulent. Go out into the world today and become a lighthouse for someone. Give more than you get. True joy comes from serving others. Start today. I'm Jason Tenori, your host. Thank you for listening to the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. For more information, podcast show notes, or links to anything that we have discussed today, please check out our website, thedentallighthouse.com. We would love to hear from you. If you would like to get on the show, please email us at podcast@thedentallighthouse.com.